Guys, I want you to look at something with me right now, because what just dropped today across the national media, the power rankings, the projections, the predictions, it is almost perfectly designed to fuel this football team heading into 2026. Yahoo Sports has the Commanders 24th, ESPN Analytics 24th. The Ringer is talking about how their draft class lacks high-impact players. The national media has looked at this roster and decided Washington is just another middle-of-the-pack team with question marks and nothing special going on. And honestly, I could not be happier about it, because I have seen this exact movie before. 2 years ago, this same franchise had a rookie quarterback that nobody was talking about. They had a head coach in Dan Quinn that people barely remembered from his time with the Cowboys. The national media had no idea what to expect. Nobody was giving them a real shot. And what happened? They went under the radar all the way to the NFC Championship game, walked into Ford Field and beat the Detroit Lions in one of the more underrated upsets of that entire playoff run. That is what this organization does when the expectations are low and the doubters are loud. They go to work quietly and let the results do the talking. So let me tell you exactly why I think the national media is completely missing the picture on the 2026 Washington Commanders. The first thing they are getting wrong is the defense. Every single power ranking I have seen is focused on the draft class, how many picks they made, which positions they addressed, who the names are. And yes, they only made 6 draft picks. Yes, the draft class on paper is not going to blow anybody away, but that is not where this defense is being built. The real story is in the free agency additions and the entire attitude shift that starts at the top with defensive coordinator Dante Jones. This is a guy who came directly from the Minnesota Vikings defensive staff, one of the most aggressive, attack-first, dictate-the-game defensive cultures in the entire league, and he brought that mentality with him to Ashburn. Then you look at who they added around that philosophy. Amik Robinson, a guy who plays with an edge and a chip on his shoulder every single snap. Odafe Owe on the defensive line bringing relentless pass rush energy. Ernest Jones at linebacker, and I want you to look at his numbers because this is the part that gets completely overlooked. Since 2023, Jones has the lowest missed tackle rate among linebackers in the entire NFL. The lowest. This man just tackles people consistently, efficiently, every single game. That is exactly the kind of foundational piece a defense needs when it is trying to rebuild its identity from the ground up. And then there's Sonny Styles, the first-round rookie who has already turned heads at every OTA practice the media has been allowed to watch. The speed is real. The athleticism is real. He does not play like a rookie. He does not carry himself like a rookie. And when you put him next to the pieces they already have in that secondary, suddenly you have a defense with real speed at every level. And that was the single biggest problem this team had last year. You could see it in that Green Bay game. You could feel it all season. The defense simply could not match up with speed. That problem has been directly addressed. Is this going to be a top 10 defense in 2026? Probably not. But is it going to be the defense that got pushed around and embarrassed week after week last year? Absolutely not. Now let me talk about the offense, because this is where I think the national media is making their biggest mistake. They're looking at this roster and seeing a receiving core that is thin, a running back room with questions, and an offensive coordinator in David Blow who has never called plays at this level before. And on the surface, those are fair observations, but what they're completely ignoring is the fact that Jayden Daniels is back, fully healthy, locked in, and building a real collaborative relationship with Blow that the early OTA reports have been genuinely positive about. Last year, this offense played without its starting quarterback for huge stretches of the season. That is not a small thing. That is the difference between a functioning NFL offense and complete chaos. Add Jayden back in, add the 5 running back depth they now have in that backfield, and suddenly this offense has real tools to work with. And then there's the schedule conversation, because yes, the schedule is tough. Opening at Philadelphia and Dallas, then heading to San Francisco in week 6, the national media will use that to write this team off early. But here's what I keep coming back to. Commanders fans are not afraid of those games. You want those games. You want to go into Philadelphia and prove something. You want to go to San Francisco, where this team has a very specific score to settle, and let Jayden Daniels cook in front of the whole league on Monday Night Football. Those are the games that define a season, and this team has the mentality right now to show up for them. Look at the NFC East as a whole and tell me honestly what you see. Philadelphia is trading away pieces and dealing with a quarterback situation that nobody fully trusts. The Cowboys are talented but completely unpredictable. They play up and down all season, every season, and you never know which version shows up. And the Giants are somehow managing to stay in the news all offseason for the complete wrong reasons. The division is wide open, and a Washington Commanders team that is angry, motivated, healthier than last year, and completely flying under the national radar is sitting right in the middle of all of it. Average ranking of 22nd in the league, slept on across the board, doubted by everyone outside of this fan base. 2 years ago, that was the exact setup, and we all know how that one ended. Hail to the Commanders.